Hey, up, right, I thought I'd just sort of interject before this video gets started, just to save any confusion. I actually filmed this grab rail fitting video on the BSA Gold Star back in August, but I encountered some problems with fit. So I decided to run the bike for a couple of months with that grab rail fitted, just to see if we had any issues with it, rather than publish a video and then find out that there was a problem. So yeah, the weather yeah, as you'll be able to see from the video, was very nice at the time, not like it is now. I just thought I'd make that clear so no one gets confused. And I'll just point out there have been no issues with this grab rail. In fact, it's turned out to be one of the best grab rails I've had on a bike. The extra thick gauge of the actual tubing, which is what I think caused the issue, and the fact that it comes slightly around the side of the seat rather than just being at the back of the seat. Paula finds it very comfortable and easy to use. She can actually put her hands down by her sides more or less when she's riding, and she's got a lot of real estate, if you like, on that grab rail to be able to move her arms around and stay comfortable over long distances. So actually it's turned out okay. I was just a little bit disappointed when I was actually filming this video. I'll let it run. Here we go. Hey, up, right. I'm filming this on Friday morning. I don't know. I hadn't planned doing this until next week, but the frame loop and grab rail have arrived for the BSA 650 Gold Star, and I wanted to get as much riding in as I can this weekend. The only way to do that is really to have Paula with me, otherwise I'm leaving her on her own, then I'm sort of, rushing to get back. So I'm filming this Friday morning. I'm going to go through the process for actually fitting these as quickly as I can. Now, if you remember, when I fitted the pannier rails, there's no instructions available for them, either online or in the packaging. With the other genuine BSA parts, I'll find it. It should come, that's a receipt, in this pocket. It should come with one of these. Now what this does, it's got a code on there that you scan with your phone, and that takes you to their download center so that you can download the instructions for fitting whatever other accessory it is that you're looking for. Now, first of all, you've got to fit the frame loop. You can't fit the grab rail without fitting the frame loop. And the frame loop sort of mimics the old-fashioned style frames that I had on the bikes in the 50s and 60s, where you had an actual loop at the back that connected all the frame together. Now, I think the Interceptor 650 actually has one of those. As I say, already built into the frame, it's part of the frame. But with the Triumphs, they're pretty much the same arrangement as they are on the BSA, whereby there is no frame loop. It just terminates with two ends of the frame. You can buy accessory frame loops for the Triumphs, and obviously we've got one here for the Gold Star 650. Now, I think this is a standalone accessory on its own. You don't have to fit the grab rail to it. It's available for aesthetic changes to the bike. I've had a quick look, and as far as I can tell, if you're buying the other seat accessories, which are, there are various racks with a built-in grab rail. There are also some backrests with a built-in grab rail. The backrest ones are a little bit too American for my tastes. I prefer the old Brit bike look, so I'm going for just a standard grab rail on this bike. But have a look through BSA's accessory catalogue. It's not huge. Hopefully it's going to get better as time goes on. But if your passenger prefers to have something to physically stop them from sliding back on the seat, which actually I think the grab rail will do anyway, there are other options there. if that's what you want to look at. Now, one thing I will say is I was very surprised by the weight of these components when they arrived. There must be 3 or 4 kilos here. Really heavy duty gear. It comes quite well packed. I won't say nicely packed. It's just sort of bubble wrap and cellophane. So yeah, we've got a powder coated rear frame loop. I can see on this one actually there are 1 or 2 chips out of it already, which isn't ideal. They only do this in satin black, which matches the frame finish. It would have been nice to see one in chrome, or maybe even polished stainless steel, but bloody hell. Here we go. And she's ready. I'll get that later. Yeah, so I mean that is pretty thick tubing. Normally with these sort of accessories it's quite thin. Quite a hefty piece of kit is that. Now it comes with a set of fasteners. As I say, you can download the instructions from BSA. I'm going to have to get a knife for this, just give me a minute. And what we've got is a couple of plastic bungs which go into the end of the tubing to tidy it up. And I think I'll just need to get a rubber mallet, I think, to bang those in. Yeah, there's a bit of a knack to getting it started. That's that one in. There, I just set it down on a piece of wood to get it started. Seriously, snug fit. They're not going to come out in a hurry. Yeah, just remember what I did. I just set it down on a piece of wood to get it started into the actual tubing, and then once you've got it fitted in at the end, just finish it off. Don't use a conventional hammer, use a rubber mallet, otherwise you'll regret it. Now we've got a similar scenario here as we had with the pannier rails. I know that there are some pre-threaded holes already in the frame here to accept these. So just looking at it, we've got 4 stainless washers and 4 stainless screws. So I'm just going to move this one out of the way, take the seat off, and then we'll get this started. Yeah, remember when you're handling these side panels, make sure your hands are clean. Black paint does mark really easily, and just keep it away from the frame as you're pulling it off. Put it somewhere safe where it won't get kicked around, and then just pull the blue puller and the seat's off, and just put your seat somewhere safe where it's not going to get scuffed or damaged. Right, so let's have a look how these fit. You've got your 2 holes here. Right, I think it's crucial that you have some cloth under here, because you are definitely setting yourself up to scratch the mudguard while you're fitting this if you're not careful. So you must have something in place. It goes on in this orientation with the actual brackets facing upwards, and I've noticed you can't get it on from above. It has to sort of come in from the back and be slid in place. And I mean, you see why this is essential now. If you didn't have that there, it's going to rest on the chrome on these mudguards. So once you've got it in place, just carefully thread your fasteners on, but don't at this point attempt to tighten them up in any way. You're just getting them in place, that's all you're doing, and making sure that you've got the threads engaged properly. Lift it up a little bit to get that one in. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So all you're doing is you're just getting your threads started. Now these are 5mm Allen screws, and that's it. They're all in place now. So as you can see, you've got a huge gap here. I'm presuming that as you tighten those up, it's going to pull that in. I hope it is. So let's get started with these. I think it's just a matter of going round. And doing them bit by bit so that it pulls it in. Don't tighten one side up first and then try and do the other, do it evenly, which is very similar to what we had to do with the pannier rails. It does seem to pull it in okay. No major issues. Now that's pretty tight there, so I'm going to take that out now, otherwise there's a danger of trapping it underneath and having to unfasten everything to get it back out again. So yeah, it seems to be pulling it in okay, no hassle, I can see. Starting to get tight now. Right, I can't get those any tighter because it's starting to shred the actual Allen sockets. We have got a little bit of a gap between all, I mean, looking at it, they're all pretty much even, and that is rock solid, so I'm happy with that. Right, so as this played out, I was sort of happy with that initially, but then when it came to fitting the actual grab rail to it, again we had huge discrepancies with the clearances. Now I was running short of time and I had to sort of just get this finished because we were going out, and I did come back and re-record the following day, so I'll let this play out so you can see the issues that I faced putting this on. And then at the end of the video, I'm not sure how long it is at the moment, but at the end of the video I came back the following day and sorted it all out with some spacers. And I'll point out that I followed the instructions to the letter. I did exactly what it said on the instructions, but it just, nothing fitted properly. So as I say, I had to do a bit of thinking and pack some spacers in there to get everything to fit right, and I'll show you that at the end. Right, this is a very large and substantial grab rail. Again, it matches in, the finish matches in with the frame and everything. Again, as you can see here, got quite a distance between fasteners, between the two fastening surfaces. Right, I went ahead and fitted the grab rail because we were getting short of time, we were going out, and I just wasn't happy with it. You know, the discrepancies were building up between, you know, the clearances for fitting, and it ended up to the point where all the actual threads were exposed. I couldn't tighten them up any further because the radius on both the frame loop and the grab rail, they were just too big, so you couldn't pull it in to get a good fit. Now, with it exposing those threads, it all felt very solid, but to me it seemed that you were overstressing the threads, and also you're putting those fasteners under a torsional load as the pillion pulls on that grab rail as the bike's moving around, which eventually might not end up well. So I ordered some stainless steel M8 washers from Amazon. This that you're seeing now is the following day. What I did, the whole kit only comes with a total of 4 washers, and they are quite wide washers, which originally are fastened on the outside of the frame loop as per the instructions. I removed those and used them as spacers, and placed those between the frame and the frame loop with an additional washer at the back, one of the M8 washers that I'd bought in. The problem was the gap at the back of the brackets and the gap at the front of the brackets was different, so I had to pack them out, you know, with different tolerances to make it fit. It all looks like a bit of a hash, but once I'd got it all together, what it had actually done is it had pulled the frame loop out slightly, which meant that it would be easier to fit the grab rail more precisely on the frame loop. I mean, I know this is not ideal. You shouldn't have to do this with a genuine accessory for a bike, but you know, needs must when the devil drives. Sometimes you do come across issues like this, and this is how I got round it. The end result being that I had a nice tight fit on the frame loop onto the frame that wasn't putting any undue stress on the fasteners. You know, it fitted as it should, but with those spacers or packing pieces in place that made it fit in a way, you know, in a manner that it should fit. Now, doing this meant that it had pulled that frame loop out a little bit, and obviously the grab rail had been designed to fit the radius of that frame loop. So when it came to fitting the grab rail, everything fitted much better than it had the first time. Now, one thing that did worry me a little bit is that by allowing these brackets to come out a little bit, it might snag on the seat when you refit the seat, but there was plenty of clearance. That wasn't a problem. So I went ahead and fitted the grab rail with the 4 stainless steel M8 fasteners that came with it. There was no need for any additional spacers. There was just enough flex in it for it to fasten up to that frame loop properly, and all was good. Now, I'm not making excuses for BSA. This shouldn't have been like this, but I do think maybe this was one of the very earliest accessory grab rails and frame loop kits. The reason being that when I first tried to get hold of one, I was told that there were none in the country, and then I finally managed to find one. BSA just pulled one out of the hat. So I sort of suspect this was maybe an early one that had been put to one side for a reason, and you know, they'd forgotten why it had been put to one side, and then it was suddenly produced for me so that I could make this video. I don't actually know, but it's always worth having a pack of assorted stainless steel washers. I normally have some. I seem to remember lending them to someone quite some time ago, and I don't remember getting them back, and I couldn't find them, and that was the only reason I had to reorder. But you're talking about a £5 for an assorted pack of you know, stainless steel washers, which always come in handy, especially for jobs like this. So anyway, all was good in the end. It's been trouble-free ever since. I have sort of rechecked it to make sure that nothing's come adrift. It's been absolutely fine, and as I said, Paula really likes this grab rail because the extra thick diameter of the tube means that, you know, there's more for the palm of the hand to grip onto, which is more comfortable. And also, as you can see, it sort of comes down the side of the seat slightly, so she's got more sort of options for where to place her arms. As you know, if you've ridden pillion, if you've only got one small area to sort of place your hands, it can get a little bit uncomfortable there. You can get pain in your shoulders, etc. And the ability to move around a little bit and adjust the position of your hands is quite helpful on longer journeys. Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I think one of the reasons they've had to make everything so big is to be able to accommodate taking the seat off and refitting it. So yeah, actually, I mean, that looks all right. Now it's on, Maybe a little bit industrial. I would certainly like to have seen these in chrome or polished stainless, but you know, it is what it is. It's what's available for the moment. So yeah. Right, so once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this comedy of errors, as well as my other videos. I really do appreciate it. You know, I like to show you the positive wherever I can, but I can see people might sort of encounter some issues with this frame loop and grab rail kit if they decide to fit it to the bikes. I mean, I did have a quick look. I've not seen any other videos on YouTube demonstrating it. And to be honest, this is quite an expensive option. There are some cheaper third-party options out there, and I dare say as time goes on, there will be more third-party options available. But this is pretty much what is available for the moment. So really, it's the only option that I had available for this video. There is one more third-party item available, but at the time they were out of stock, and I just needed to get a grab rail on for Paula's safety and comfort. If you found this video useful, or even just downright entertaining, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. You can help me out in other ways via my Patreon page or the super thanks button down below. Either way, it is much appreciated. I am of course going to be back next week, so until then, please ride safely, and I'll see you soon.